Okay guys, welcome back, part 2. What is it now? It's 1:15. If you can hear in the background, I've got Paul from my SM and the ISM boys on the computer playing. So that's one of the downsides of making videos, is you can't have anything on the background. So if you're doing a sort of fairly lengthy build, you can't have anything, you can't listen to anything while you're doing your modelling. So anyway, I've got all this together, and this just goes to show, when you look at inbox reviews, don't always take it as gospel that it's a great kit because it's got, you know, like with this one, you might think, wow, you know, it's got coil springs and that, it must be awesome, because it's just the gimmick. It looks very real if you just glue it all up, but actually having it all operating, some of them are, this one you can see, this one's not very free moving. There's no strength in the springs whatsoever, so unless it's absolutely got, you know, no resistance whatsoever, like that one there, it won't spring back. And then if it's got no resistance whatsoever, it's quite wobbly, so the wheels aren't going to be straight. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is getting the wheels on, then blocking the chassis up with some strips underneath, get it down on something flat with some weight in there, push all the wheels down and just put some glue in all these pins, so to lock it all up, because it's all, you know, it's either too stiff and doesn't move, or doesn't spring back, or it's floppy. So yeah, stiff or floppy, you take your choice. I don't really want either today, thank you very much. So yeah, I mean, this is the problem with these new companies. They try and do something that, say, Tamiya or Meng would do, and they would absolutely make this awesome, you know, but unfortunately they haven't managed that with this. So yeah, so that's that in. Then we've got these parts here to go in. These are covers that go over those pins. Now, I'm not going to bother putting those on because there's no interior detail. You're never going to see them inside once the hull is closed up. The hull is closed up, so I'm just going to leave them off for now at least, and then just carry on. So the next part we got to do now is look at these wheels, and we've got 8 of them, so that's 32 wheels. So I'm going to get all those off the sprue now, get them cleaned up, and I'll be back in a sec. Right, so on with the wheels. I've got basically half, one side basically off the sprues now. So we'll start with this rear idler part. So we've got this A11 and A17 that go together here. And these parts, I see we've got a little tab on one and a little slot in the other. So that's going to slot in there like that. That's a nice fit. I haven't seen any fit issues so far on this kit as such, but all that suspension stuff is a bit gimmicky, to be honest. But yeah, on the whole, it's going together quite nicely. As we speak now, it's 10 to 2. And I'm just about to start uploading the first part of this video. I don't know if many of you have made YouTube videos, but it can be quite involved. What you need to do is you need to first of all, you need to make the film, as I'm doing now. Then you obviously have all these little clips that you see where you have to get all them downloaded onto a editing software. And then you have to edit everything and make one long stream out of it with all the fading you see in between and everything. Then you have to load that up onto your computer, and then from your computer you load it up into YouTube. So you're actually doing the whole thing like 3 times. And, you know, it's quite a lengthy process. So, you know, if I wanted to get this up now for an hour's time and it was a half-hour video, it'd be nigh on impossible to do. So, right, I think I might have just found our first fit issue. I'm assuming there's a semicircular hole in there, and we've got this semicircular lug on here. So I'm assuming that that lug is supposed to go into there, but it appears to not want to. Yeah, it doesn't seem to want to go in there. Let's try it this way round. Yeah, it goes in that way, so I'm just going to see if it's because of, there's quite a big mismatch in this mould. I don't know if you can see that there. There's quite a large step where the whole mould is like this. This is the problem I had with those suspension supports on the side just now. So if I just remove that, like so. There we go. Let's see how that goes in now. Yeah, perfect. So there we go. That's what you need to do if you're building this kit. There's a lump there where you got mold mismatch. Just remove it, and then it will just pop in like that easily. So just put some glue on. If this was a American tank or a tank that had tension tracks, I wouldn't have glued this in. But because it's German and the tracks are all going to be floppy and resting on the top of the road wheels like a tiger, then it doesn't really matter about track tension being spot on. So that's that in. So now we've got these wheels. So we've got an A5 here, an A7 here, and then we've got a 24 and a 21. So that goes that way round. This goes this way round and snaps onto there. Okay. And then this is going to go in the back.
In the morning? Okay. Yeah, well.
It's a bit strange. It's definitely that way round. But on the back here we've got a peg. If you can see that peg there. That goes onto this, so it does absolutely nothing.
It's got that
bit strange. So let's
the near finish on the side.
let's put some glue on here.
Plywood.
Glue them together.
Plywood finish.
Some good decal for that.
Yeah, good. Also.
And then that's going to go onto there.
Yep.
Like that. So you glue that on, then the wheels will spin. Okay.
My kids? Yeah, well.
So let's put that in there. I don't understand what that peg on the back is for.
Yeah.
Just hope I'm not doing anything wrong. So put some glue on here, making sure we keep it away from the outside. And I'll just pop that in there. And if I can have the wheels turning, it makes painting them a lot easier. I don't want to necessarily play with it when it's done, but having the wheels turning does make it a lot easier when it comes to painting.
And enjoy it. Make sure to have seconds and thirds. Really take our time, and the kids are just.
There we go. So that's that one together. And then we've got this one here, a 24 and a 20. So, oh, I see, that's where this comes to play. So you've got that going into there. I don't know why that needs to be timed, but they obviously feel it's necessary. So we'll put some glue in there.
And there we go, there's my little Mustang finished.
Ooh.
Quick. Yes.
Very nice.
And as always, we'll just spare bits.
You want to call it Sally?
Probably get rides round all of it.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
And then that's going to go on like that.
I'm doing this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something new.
And then I guess that pushes on there like that. And then this wheel goes on over like that. And that's how we're going to go all the way down. So I'll get on and get these done rather than have you fall asleep watching. And I'll see you back in a sec. Alright guys, I can feel you all patiently waiting for this to become visible on YouTube. It's now 2:45, in fact it's nearly 2:50, and the first video is 97% uploaded. So obviously the World Wide Web is very busy today and everything is extremely slow. So yeah, sorry about that, out of my control. I have noticed just that on YouTube you get the option of having a live video. So maybe that's something else I should consider, but I don't want to go into all the complexities of that right now. Plus I don't have a camera. I did buy a C920, is it? And I sent it back because I thought it was junk. So anyway, it was junk for this sort of stuff anyway. Every time I did that, it would refocus itself. If you look back, you'll see the videos I put up. Bloody awful thing, I thought. So right, this is pretty awful as well. You can see all this floppy suspension and crap is just gimmicky garbage, really. So yeah, we've got the wheels basically turning. I don't know if you can see, but the pegs that they go on are actually tapered, so the wheels actually lock on, and I don't have the time, the inclination or the interest to get rid of all that taper just so that I can have the wheels spinning, because I'd rather have them firm than have them, you know, or wobbly and stuff. And you can also see when you look at that, I don't know if you can see, but the wheels aren't even straight, so I don't know if I can turn them and make them straight. Yeah. Don't you just love it when you're filming and then you realise that your camera's run out of memory? I got to this stage, right, where was I? I was saying about, don't you just love it when these wheels don't run true? So yeah, and then also to add insult to injury, you'll find that the outer wheels go on there and they're like a prick in a top hat, so you can see how much play they've got in them. And all this garbage suspension is all just it is rubbish. I don't think I'll be building another amusing hobby kit. I'm not very over enamoured with this at all. I can only imagine. I mean, I've looked at their 88mm gun, and I don't think I'll be bothering with that. It's probably got all these gimmicky recoil mechanism and stuff on it, and it's probably a fantastic inbox review, but a load of bloody garbage in reality. So there we go. So I can get the wheels true eventually by pulling them about and bending them about, and then the same with these. When I glue them on, I can move them around and put some blocks of steel up against them to make sure they stay true. You'll see all that in a minute. Tempted to just sort of glue it all together and hope for the best when it's painted. I would also like to know, please, probably a good question for Darren, this one. This area in here, if this were painted, if the whole tank was painted in the yellow, green and brown colours, what are the Tamiya colours you recommend? And also, would this in here have been painted yellow, or would it have been left red oxide? I can imagine that this in here wouldn't be camouflaged, but it may well be. It may well have been painted yellow. So please let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. We'll call that a wrap for this part of the video. We'll call this part 2, and then we'll go on to part 5. Well, part 3 of the video, section 5 of the instructions next, and we're going to look at the idlers and the sprockets. And who wants to have a wager with me that those sprockets don't fit these tracks? I'll bet they don't fit at all. So I'll see you back in a minute, guys. Slight change of plan. I ended up gluing the outer wheels on anyway. And I can pull them about. But what I've put the tracks on here just to see that everything's sort of sitting level. And I am going to glue the suspension up once I'm good and ready. I have noticed that with the tracks the way they are, you can hardly see the wheels anyway. So if the inner wheels aren't perfectly straight or whatever, I don't think it's going to notice once it's painted and got some weather, because those tracks shroud them so much. I mean, I don't know, try and show you guys on the angle you're looking at, but you can see the tracks cover the top of the wheels a lot. So this thing is massive. It is huge. I mean, what is it? It's nearly 5 inches wide. 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's nearly 5 inches wide. It's huge. Anyway, let's call that a wrap, and I'll get myself some lunch and stuff, and then I'll be back with some more later on. I'm going to get on with these sprockets now and see if they fit the tracks, and then it looks like we're going to come to a close, because we're going to start on the main hull now. So yeah, enough of all this stuff. Let's get on with some proper model building.